My first guest is one half of the prolific and nostalgic duo Sun Monks. And although that beloved project is in the past, it remains timeless. The man I speak of has migrated from a land far away to pursue a sound of his own, a project that has traveled to many lands and has performed exhilarating sets with a live electronic component. He has performed at festivals such as Burning Man, Rainbow Serpent, and Shambhala Festival. His sound is undefinable, yet lies somewhere in the realms of bass music, with a myriad of influences from rock, breakbeat, Spanish blues, dubstep, and so much more. He has collaborated with an exceptional group of people, and exceptional talents such as Monkey Mark, Dub Princess, Kudos, Opio, and many more. In fact, some of my favorite two tracks are Sufi Dub and the remix you did for Lunar Sound, Step Beyond, are played in my sets all the time. He recently poured his heart and emotion into an album by the name of Abismo, an album that tells the heartfelt story and struggle of losing his father to a drug cartel heist. It is an incredible story of suffering, grief, and processing emotions through his own creative endeavors. Damas y caballeros, les presento al hombre demonio de Tampico, México, conocido en las culturas latinoamericanas como la chupacabra. Este demonio dispara fuego desde su guitarra y teje misterios sonoros y baladas electrónicas de amor y muerte, felicidad y tristeza. Está el mariachi electrónico de balancio de guitarra Albino Sosa Ruiz, también conocido como Austero. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, I present the demon man of Tampico, Mexico, known in Latin American cultures as La Chupacabra. This devil shoots fire from his guitar and weaves sonic mysteries and electronic ballads of love and death, happiness and sadness. He is the guitar-swinging motherfucker, electronic mariachi, Albino Sosa Ruiz, a.k.a. Austero. Welcome to Surreal Melbourne, bro.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
How was the Spanish? Was that?
It was perfect, brother.
Was it good?
It was perfect.
I thought I'd maybe do like the whole. What's his name? The famous actor. He's in Zorro.
Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas. I was gonna do like, ladies and gentlemen, I present the.
That would have been good. He's from Spain, so
he's not even Mexican.
He can fuck off.
He's a fake Mexican.
Yeah, he's a Mexican wannabe.
Yeah, that's it, man. So you
cheers.
Cheers. Let's just do this.
Now I've just invited me a really nice gin, and how could I say no? It's a bit early for me.
How can it's gin? There's never really an early time for gin, is there?
Exactly. For anything really.
So you're just fresh off completing your album, and you've poured a lot of your own emotion and time into it. But before I kind of want to get into the sort of, how that you got into the process of actually creating Abismo, I wanted our viewers to get a sort of sense of who you are as a person and, where you're from. Obviously, I've mentioned you're from Tampico, Mexico. And I wanted to sort of highlight the process of you actually coming to Australia. Maybe you could sort of tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, well, I came to Australia in 2008. For the first time, I came on 2003 or 4. I can't remember that well. I went as an exchange student to New Zealand with a dear friend, Nosebleed. That's track number 4 of the album. So we went there as exchange students, and then he had to go back to Mexico. So I did some traveling by myself, and I came here to Melbourne in 2003, 2004. I walked, I remember perfectly, the Brunswick Street in Fitzroy. And I just saw the music culture was insane. Things that I've had never seen, that they are normal probably for Melbourne, that Greek boutsukis, the djembe, this and that in Mexico, well, you don't see.
Like the actual, like the musicians.
Yeah, they were like playing in the Greek bars. You know, Fitzroy was very multicultural back then. I mean, it probably still is.
Maybe it's gone a bit more hipster now.
Yeah. I mean, it just got popular, but there's still probably all these places. So yeah, I was absolutely fascinated, and I was like, I've got to come back here.
So you were actually, as an exchange student, you were what, like studying for 6 months in New Zealand, and then post that,
and post that they gave you a special visa to go travel around here, and I came here, I went to Fiji. I was like, woo,
yeah.
Myself, you know? So yeah, I just thought this place is phenomenal. I need to come back because of the music. You know, I remember this little place. There's this chick, beautiful girl. I don't know where she was from. I won't make assumptions, but she was playing the djembe. Like, I was just like, wow. And this guy had a little guitar, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
There's a chemistry between them, and they're playing.
What is this? And it was just like so foreign to me to see this type of instruments. You know, like weird little guitars or lyras. I really didn't know. I don't even.
Yeah.
And the drum and stuff. I was like, I gotta come back here. So I went back to Mexico. I graduated. I worked triple shifts for 2 years after that. Back home, I was managing. In the days, I was working at this big concert hall called Cafe Iguana. It's really, really, really good place. So I was working there in the days, managing the place from the office, per se, everything that you need a club to manage. And then in the nights, I would manage the nights, and I played. I was also resident DJ.
So you actually do DJ. I actually didn't know that about you, because I always seen you as a producer playing, you know, your own music. Obviously, probably maybe some other.
Oh, I used to, like, that was my job. That was my job for 2 years.
Yeah,
play every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Wow.
From psytrance to progressive trance to house or techno. Yeah,
you made psytrance.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that where the dreads come from? Is that
nah? Who knows? I don't even remember. But yeah. So then I came back. I was like, I saved money. You know, I worked triple shifts for 2 years. I was 25, 26. You know, you got all the energy in the world. So I could, and then I came here to study at SAE for a year, and then, you know, life just kept me here, thank God.
Took a turn of its own in a way. Yeah.
So it wasn't easy, but I loved every
the process of staying here.
Yeah,
you mean, I can.
You know how it is.
Yeah,
sleeping in couches with friends, making favors. You know, like I the first year I had like 13 different houses that I was like, okay, you know, you stay in different places and you just on the couch or under the stairs and stuff, and you still got to go to work, and you still have to study, and you still have to party.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you got to have to release after doing all of that hard work. You know, it's like where you know, give a dog a bone kind of thing.
Yeah, and it was really interesting. So, 12 years in.
12 years in.
Yeah.
What point did you get your permanent visa? Was that?
I think 6 years in.
6 years in.
Yeah. So it was 2 years of studying, and then 4 years with partner visa, and then that was it. So it was 2 years and I can't remember, but probably 5 or 6 years in.
Yeah,
maybe 4. I can't remember.
You don't really like realize how lucky you are until you get that PR, you know, or even just to be able to apply for it, because it's like having to go back is not an option, you know?
Yeah, you couldn't. I could, and you know, like that energy. I see it like a bird, you know, like a bird creates his nest, and that's his thing.
Yeah,
and that's what we did. You know, while you go to another country, start your life over from zero. I started like picking up rubbish bins, you know, and I was managing this mega concert hall, like hanging out with big stars and stuff.
In Mexico, that is. Yeah,
and then you go here, it's like, that's that rubbish bin. You can empty it on the back.
Oh,
and
man.
I'm like, cool.
Isn't that such a reality check sometimes?
Yeah.
Like, it makes you so
It was
humble.
the happiest times of my life, really.
Yeah, because as long as you had the music, as long as you were able to still do it, it doesn't matter if you were shoveling shit or you were, you know?
Yeah, you just do. Remember that we used to stay hours just waiting instead of going in a bus or a train. I can't remember what it was, because a taxi wasn't an option for us. You know, we were on $12.50 an hour.
Yeah, wow.
You know, yeah.
Is it back in Mexico? Like
here. This is when we were here, and we would wait. No, in Mexico, it was sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it was a great job. It was well paid, everything. It was sorted. Here, we used to wait for the bus, me and Braulio, my brother. we used to wait for the bus or the train for 2 hours in like there because it'll save us like maybe $3.
Wow.
You know, or $6 of difference. It was like, nah, we're staying, and we just were there like, and it just makes, it makes you stronger, I guess, or more like with experience of that thing of, you become an immigrant and you embrace it as the best way you can, you know?
Yeah. It just, you have to deal with so many things.
I'm pretty sure you passed.
Look, I feel a bit privileged compared to you. I did have my I mean, I don't know if your parents helped finance you in some way.
I mean, you know, they do help. Not that.
Yeah.
I would. They always said they would help more, but I just felt like, you're old. I'm not. I'm fine. Even if it's like if I have to wait for the bus or the train or whatever for 2 hours. Like I was 28 by then, or 27, 28. I was like, nah,
I'm self-sufficient.
I'm not a kid. I'm not saying that if you get, it's good, it's lucky, like you say, it's cool. But sometimes, your own pride goes like, nah. I gotta do this because maybe I would keep on right now, like, oh, can I have some help still? It's like, nah.
Yeah.
At 3 months, I started with a job. It was hard to break that barrier of getting to, I've got a job and I know where I am and I know the names of things. It's like ciabatta. I was like, what is this? And it's like, oh, I know this bread, but it's, just stuff like that,
Just little things about the industry that you're working with. It's like working in a cafe or working that.
Give me a glass. What is that?
What the fuck's a tumbler glass?
Oh, and the accent also, because obviously Mexico's beside the States, so I would be much more used to that accent that people would say like, oh, can I have a Jim Beam?
Yeah.
But in Australia, it's like, can I have a Jim Beam? And it was just like, oh, do you want a champagne? And I'll pour him a champagne. And it's like, this blokey bloke. It's like, what are you doing, mate? I want a Jim Beam. And I was like, oh, you said champagne? It's like, oh, fuck. They more or less sound, like stuff like that. And you fuck it. Like in my first job, like I obviously stuffed it up and that was it. Cheers. So one day, I was like, oh, fuck. Serving tables, and you're like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Yeah. Have you done this before? Yes, of course.
Yeah. Just sort of like lying to kind of get you through the thing, whatever it takes.
Sandwich maker. Have you done this before? Yes.
You're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I've done sandwiches.
That's awesome, man. So obviously, it was a very tough experience to just kind of like make ends meet and everything like that. And even though you had yourself life sorted in Mexico, that sort of life wasn't as rich as, what you experienced here in Melbourne, and you wanted to build on that, right?
Yeah, well, I think how I thought of it is that I wasn't in the best position I could be at that time with that job. I had a great house. I had a great job. Everything was great. And after 2 years, even if, like they say, even if you eat caviar every night, you're like, not that I've tried it or anything. Like you just want something different. And for me, there was always that dream of going to study audio to Australia.
Yeah.
It's a thing, in the world, like when you're like in trance or whatever. Oh yeah, they've studied audio.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, everybody's has had that type of
a mentality.
Thinking, it's like, yep. So I
from
did.
Abroad, that is, yeah.
It's very, SAE is very cliche if you want to go like, ooh, I mean, there's probably better schools than that, but they got, like, they got the marketing pretty well or whatever. I don't know, but everybody's like, yeah, SAE. So
how well do you think SAE served your musical career? Like,
my musical career, I don't think much.
What about your technical, like technically speaking?
As I said in the last podcast thing, it's like, look, I reckon that people that do a lot of things by experience is almost the same. You can learn that in 2 or 3 years of like just being in the program. But being that said, I wouldn't change my education for anything. Like I would do it anytime again. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was like, actually, I'm actually studying something that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And you have mega studios and stuff, and you're like, wow. Yeah. You don't know how lucky you are until you
No, I can relate. I mean, look, I studied a business degree, and I one of my Arthur, my good friend,
yes.
He did the degree in RMIT, but all the other friends as well who did it in SAE, the thing that they had was accessibility. It's like when will you get a chance to mix on a, I don't know how big the mixing desks
they're
are.
huge. They're
how many channels? Like
I don't know.
100 channels?
Yeah, 100. Like I think there's
124.
56 times 2. That's 112 of the TLA. That's the TLA big one, and then all the signal processing. So you got
preamps and
everything.
Everything.
Like this mega compressors are $10,000 or whatever. The reverb units are insane. So at that time, you were like, this is gonna be like this all the time. And then you graduate, and then you're like, oh fuck, I'm never gonna see that again.
You get separation anxiety, do you?
Yeah, it's like, oh, how much is that? How much was that one that I was using? That's $500,000.
So they never really had like a program for like alumni graduates to come back.
Yeah, but the last place you want to be is back in school when you graduate, kind of thing. So yeah, we never came back. We never went back. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like, I feel like a story for you is not going back, like not moving like back, always moving forward, right?
Yes. You could see it better than me. I don't know. I'm just.
I mean, so I've seen you perform a few times. Some of them have been like very memorable. Even though I think like one show you actually on stage with Opio and Dub FX was playing at the Corner Hotel.
Yes.
That was probably, for me, one of the funnest gigs I'd ever been to.
It was real good.
And you were on fire on stage, man. Like all I could just see were just dreads whiplashing in.
Yeah, that tour was really good with Opio and Dub FX and NDV. We did like 13 shows in 2 weeks. And by show number 4, 5, or 6, you are
rinsed.
No, you're like really sharp.
Oh, okay,
so
yeah.
You're probably what you saw was show number 10, 11.
Yeah.
So you're super sharp because it's the same show. So it's like practicing.
Yeah, okay, I guess so.
So then at the 10th show, you are flying.
So, I mean, where were the countries that you guys toured? Is it just Australia?
New Zealand and here.
Just New Zealand and here.
Yeah. So we did, I think, I can't remember. It was maybe 5 in New Zealand and 8 here.
Yeah.
Or 6 and 7, something like that. But it was, yeah. So, and I was working in the middle. So it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday here, while I was working Monday to Friday.
Oh,
yeah.
Hustler, man. I'm a
it was
hustler,
great.
baby.
Woo, payday.
Man, that's incredible. I can relate to that.
I know.
But, yeah, I mean, do you find that hard, like switching gears? Or it's just, no, I just got to do what I got to do, or that's your release?
I think I love the fact that I still got a job. I really love like having that, polarity of like, I'm only a musician, go touring or do shows or get albums or whatever, burn music, and then boom, now I'm a rope access technician. And then you go or out west to work or here in the city, Monday to Friday, and then you just forget about music, and that's the break.
Yeah.
Although it's not a break, but it's a break for your head.
Okay, yeah.
So you're not like always on music or always on working. So you have that polarity of things. I really like the balance. Right now with the isolation and all that, I've just been a musician and I'm a party animal. But yeah, I can't wait to start working.
Yeah.
I can't wait to start working.
Which is going to be sooner, you said?
Yeah, I reckon mid-June or something.
Mid-June.
We're still going to milk a little bit the government, I guess.
Milk the government. So that's cool, man. Like, I feel like I can, again, having the separation from the two things allows you to have less intensity of like needing to come up with something all the time. Because there's a lot of intensity, isn't it, that comes up with like when you set a deadline for yourself and a goal, right?
Yeah, definitely. Deadlines are a must. I hate them, but yeah, they're a must. Like it's like, well, no, it's not, but it's not ready.
It's never ready, right?
But it's never ready. Exactly. So you need that deadline to actually go. Okay, I can't touch it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. There's I guess before I kind of go into the whole creativity point of view, one thing that is so obvious about your performances when you play is having the electric guitar as your, it's always strapped to you. And I wanted to actually kind of go back to when that started out for you. When did you actually start performing, like, or playing electric guitar and even training? Was it something your parents like just gave you a guitar, or?
In my hometown, there's not that many musicians. People are like more focused on business or whatever. So the few good musicians that I was around, they were actually neighbors. So that was not like neighbor, but from the block, A couple of friends, Marcelo Fernandez and Gianfranco, and like you name it. They were just from the block, and you would go and see them, and whoa, and they were just 1 year older. But when you're younger, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And you just like, oh, what is that one? Oh, is that Guns N' Roses? Okay, I can you show me? And just like, okay, 3 chords, and then you go 3 chords and stuff like that, and you just, that was the beginning. And then I had a band, Canica. That was a band from my hometown, and we started doing well. And then it was the late 90s, and then it was like, oh, well, all this DJing thing is coming very popular. I'm going to learn how to do that to incorporate it to the band. So then I just did that, and I was like, fuck the band. I'm playing psytrance. Yay. It was, 2000, 2001 and stuff. So,
and that's when psytrance was really exploding. And that was
it was underground. It was like the new rock and roll.
Yeah.
It wasn't massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we started to do parties, and the same old story.
And like
old guys say, we started to do parties, man. We
the old school
introduced psytrance.
But it's true because isn't it Mexico, Israel, London, and obviously Goa, we're all hotspots for psytrance.
Yeah, massive still
are.
Still super alive. It's like metal in Finland or something. But and then after that, after doing all these years of DJing, it was 7 years of thing. I was like, okay, this is, like you said, moving forward. I was like, this is not taking me anywhere musically, like creatively.
Yeah,
like you can perform and all, but you have that thing that's like, oh, I know how to play an instrument. I'm a musician. I want to get that out. So I started in 2006, 2007 to learn Logic Madera. A really good friend started to tell me how to use the program. And I just started, to chip out. That was 13 years ago.
13 years ago.
14 years ago.
That's a long time to be a producer. That's almost like they say, like 10 years makes you a master. Would you feel like you're a master, or you feel like you never, huh?
Never. I mean, I can make a song. If that was the end product, I can make a song.
And a very musical one at that.
So
that's something I struggle as a producer, is like making it. How do you make it sound
like a song
and less like a loop?
Yeah. I have a problem not making it sound like that. I just can't. Or do bangers, I can't. I just can't, man. I tried.
Yeah.
I'm not good at it. So just do what you can.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that important to create bangers unless that's the kind of vibe that you're going for.
Well, like we've played in festivals and stuff, and you want to be, have some bangers. But after, like, if they're not coming from your heart, for say, or your creative, like when they come. But if, like, I find it hard to try and make something that I can't, or like try and make something. It's just like everything that I produce is it just comes out like bang. Yeah. It's not like, oh, I want to make this style. Like it's just out of experimentation and then bang.
Yeah.
So then I came here. I met Oscar on my first week. Yeah.
And that's Oscar Opio. Oscar.
Yeah. So we were like, hey, let's just do music. Yeah, let's just do music. That's all I came to do. And then we started making music, and it was just a dream of mine. I remember having this vision since I was like really young, or like that, of me playing with synths and all that. I just play with the guitar, I don't play with all that shit. But, but like it came. You kind of put that pressure on yourself to, hey man, I want to do this, and
yeah. So how did you meet Oscar? Was it through SAE?
It's a story I can't tell, man.
All right, fair enough.
We met in the street.
Literally in the street, yeah.
Yeah. No, it was through
Chance.
casuality. Yeah, I mean, yeah, chance and probability, and then by the next week we were in Rainbow.
Like performing?
No.
Not perform-
Going. The
Go
next
on.
year we were. The next year.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's pretty amazing. So we went to every festival. Like, it was like Winter Solstice, Rainbow Serpent, Earth Frequency, all these festivals. We went the first year here, and if they would have told us you're gonna perform on every single one next year, you would have like said,
You'd be like, get the fuck out.
I wouldn't
Get the fuck
even
out.
in one, you would be like, nah, it's years. And the next year we would perform in every single one.
Every single one. As Sun Monks.
As Sunmonks, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, how many albums did you guys write? Like, how much music did you guys do
albums,
together?
one
album.
We had 2 EPs, 1 album, a few singles.
Yeah.
Like that you release with various artists and
Various
stuff like
artist
that.
compilations. Yeah.
But albums, just one that powers all the one.
Yeah, man, it's when you listen to some of those tracks, they just think like they have elements of dub, they have elements of reggae, they have elements, so many different styles of music incorporated. But the thing that ties them together is obviously, an electronic beat and bass. Like it's still bass music in a sense, but it's like you said, it's not banger music.
No.
But it's
powerful.
It's
or
powerful.
energetic.
It's energetic. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's still got the oomph. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it isn't trying to be something it's not.
Yeah, no, it was free, completely free thought, free experimentation. What do we do here? Yeah, awesome. When we put like whatever. It was like we were very free in our process of creativity.
So I mean, like because you guys have, you personally have collaborated with a lot of people, and and you obviously were in a band before, so you've clearly have, I guess you've developed a sort of experience for working with other people, musically speaking. And could you say that's true?
Yeah. I mean, you're a musician. You know a lot of them. You know how we work. We're all crazy. Some more than others.
Some more than others.
Way more.
What was your process working with Opio? I mean, was it just like you wrote the melodies, you wrote the beats, or was it?
Yeah,
just
it was just the normal. Like he's very quick and very good at in the box.
Yeah.
So he would do that, and I'll be like, yeah, this. How about that? Yeah, okay, that. Bang, bang, bang. Record, and then some pianos. I would do some pianos. What about this? What about that? And structure also, a lot of structure. I was like, oh no, here, there. But in the box, it was him. He was always like.
Yeah.
He's a machine, yeah.
I can. I didn't know at the time who he was, but I actually went to his to a tutorial he was doing. I think it was run at Revolt Space. If you remember, I think you played at Revolt, didn't you? That was maybe you would have been one of the Culture Jam events.
Yes,
the warehouse, the big warehouse.
Really, really cool space.
Yeah, so he was actually doing, and he was dressed in like all these hippie clothes, which is very different from how he dresses like now, right? I was in the back, and I was, he was showing, I think it was Logic, maybe.
Yeah.
He was showing a few things of how you do it in Logic, and at the time, like I was just getting into production, and all I knew was loops, basically, and a few effects coming from DJing. So I was like, "The fuck is this guy on about?" But I could still see by then this guy was like really, really good at what he does. But he's a drummer as well, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all that. So he would do the bass track, the ground.
Yeah, the ground.
We would color it.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then you've gone on to produce obviously your own stuff, which stands on its own 2 feet without obviously the need of some monks or Opio. And like I said, I've got some of my favorite tracks that Actually, I want to tell a story.
Oh, yeah?
In 2012, I think it was. Maybe you remember this, maybe you don't. But I was playing one of those like crazy DJ sets that I play for like 7 or 10 hours, right?
Oh yeah, no.
Play a lot of music, and I was playing at the Ali Tune stall, and I started playing. I think it was Sufi dub.
Yeah.
And you just walk into the tent.
Yeah.
And you're looking at me, and we're looking at each other, and we're just blankly looking at each other for a second before we start laughing.
Amazing.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, definitely. I remember also at Earthrick that I came to you, and it was on the tent also. I was like, "That's my track." And you're like, "Yeah, I love it."
Yeah. Look, it's a pleasure, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome, right? Really, Fuck, that's what they're for.
It's a pleasure to know you and to be able to play your music, and then we're like, yeah, man, I know that guy,
Thanks,
like
man.
that guy.
Likewise, brother.
That's dope as fuck. So I mean, how? Look, okay, so we've obviously covered a lot of ground here already, but I wanted to. We've talked about you moving to Australia and all that, but I wanted to talk about a bit of like what it's like in Mexico, especially Tampico being, you know, a place which was sort of on the verge of becoming, I guess, a holiday destination. Would you say something like that? Like it was a spring break.
Definitely. What's it called? That Semana Santa is one that just passed. Is that Jesus holiday kind of thing? What's it called?
There's a lot of Jesus holidays, man.
Easter.
Easter.
Is that a Jesus one? Yes.
Is it?
Maybe.
I don't know, man. I ain't Christian, bro.
I think so.
I don't know what I am.
Yeah. So that Easter is massive. Was massive in Tampico. For example, like 150,000 people will go to the beach there from outside, or 500,000 people, 500,000 holidayers, whatever. Yeah. It was a beautiful town to grow up in. You know, small town for Mexico. Beautiful, everything's perfect. It's like growing up in, I don't know, some place here in the mountains, or like, you know,
Blue Mountains or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It's just
Frankston. The peninsula.
Yeah. It was just a normal town.
But then,
then
things took a turn, didn't they?
Yeah. Around 3 months. I remember perfectly. 3 months after I left Mexico and I came here.
Which is what year again was
2008.
it? 2008.
The whole country went down to fucking pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, it was already a riggedy, like a riggedy old country.
Yeah.
And then this was just like taking all the groundation and just went.
Yeah. The culture of violence started happening. Gang wars.
Yeah, gang wars, turf wars. You know, the whole 9 yards. The whole dark enterprise, you know. So you got kidnapping, drug trafficking. How do you call it? Like when you pay for extortion,
bribing,
all
and extortion.
that, everything, piracy, all that stuff, just accentuated, and there was no place to be safe. And sometimes, you know, like in the north of the country.
Yeah.
Like especially my hometown, Monterrey. Also, that's the place that I lived in for 8 years before coming here. There was no place to be safe. Really, you could be in the wrong place in the wrong time. That was 11 and a half years ago.
2008. Huh?
Yeah.
That's actually the same year I came here.
Yeah.
Wow. Would you say that that's because of the drug trade? Obviously, like there's a lot of reasons why. But
there was a president back then, this drunk buffoon. They're all fucking.
They're all fucked, the politicians.
But this guy was just like, I'm just gonna wage a war on this cartel drugs people. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, they are operating from the beginning of times. You know, it's like, why would you go and kick the big cat?
The big cat, yeah.
I mean, obviously they had their own fucking reasons or whatever. He thought he was a power tripper. He was a drunk, so he still is probably. Things changed for the whole country. It became very unsafe. It became, a lot of people were really affected by it.
Yeah,
businesses, international economy, the whole thing went down.
Hotels had to close down.
It was just like if you got really sick. You know, everything. It was just hard for people to international artists of our, you know, type of music to go there, because they're like, nah, man, I've heard the stories. And so actually Oscar and I had a gig in Cafe One, and he chickened out, the pussy. with good reason. With good reason.
Yeah.
So it became massive. It just became complete terrorland.
It still is a problem in a sense. It's not.
Yeah, it's definitely fluctuates with much less stuff, or maybe you just don't hear about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like 10 years ago, for like 5 or 6 years, it was mayhem, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously the movies in Hollywood, they also sensationalize some of it as well. And
yeah, exactly. Glamorize Like right now, there's like my friends were like, "Oh, have you seen this? Have you seen this?" Like
Solid. What is that?
Narcos and
Narcos, yeah.
all that shit. You know, it's like, "Have you seen it?" It's like, "I've seen it live, bro. I don't want to see it again."
Yeah. You think that's cool thing, a cool piece of like video to consume, or but it's not cool when you have to live it.
Well, yeah. Well, it's like if like those movies, whatever movies, like, oh yeah, the war or whatever. It's like, well, you believe, like, it's like, oh, it's super glamorized, Hollywood kind of bullshit. And then when you live it, it's like,
It's a nightmare.
yeah, it's not really nice.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you've had to live it, sort of a nightmare of your own. Recently, losing your father to it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm sorry to have to bring this up.
So good. It's just part of life, man.
And it's an important part of your, I guess, story as well, in a sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we should. How about we have a cheers to your father?
Oh yeah, sick.
Well,
You got. Oh, let me put it.
let's. What was your father's name?
Albino too. I'm Albino Sosa the fifth.
So you're junior.
Junior times 5.
Junior times 5.
5th generation, man, of this weird fucking name.
To the albinos.
So yeah, hit when it hits, it hit hard.
It was an unexpected and tragic. He was a bystander of that violence. So you just created obviously the new album Abismo, which for me, when I read it, is like it's like a Spanish word. It means abyss, doesn't it?
Yes.
That, in a sense, would you say highlights the mental state that you've been living in, and I guess prior to creating that album or during that album?
During. I started the album in 2000 and I don't know, 5 years, 2015 or 16. And the first tracks were awesome. Like, let's get started. Well, that was the first track I did. I did that 5 years ago.
Was that pre the tragedy or
Yeah. So, the tracks were like, woo, kudos one, hey, yes, woo, life, woo. And then my father was taken away, and your whole universe just collapses, man. Your whole mind, body, and soul kind of thing. When something like this, like out of the blue, I mean, and my father was a bit of a piece of shit, you would be like, oh, okay, but he was a really nice guy. So it's like, fuck, never heard a soul kind of thing, and oh well, things happen, Right now, I'm pretty proud of the place that I'm right now, because I've been in not very good places in the last 4 years. So yeah, Abismo is the abyss where I wrote it from,
Yeah.
Once you suffer from a trauma like that, it's hard. It's really hard to keep up with, like the good vibes. So yeah, it definitely it's a kind of like a story, like autobiography of my mental state.
Yeah.
For the last 4 years, yeah. But in transmuted into pretty colors.
Yeah, it's very different, that album. It's not really an album that you like. I would, when I listened to it, I was like, this is not an album that you dance to. I mean, it's got some danceable tracks. Yeah. For me, it was more of like an electronic journey. You know what I mean? Like listening to it in the studio speakers is more of an immersive experience. Like
it's very sensorial. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, well, even the way, I don't know, the way you EQ'd it, the way there's a sort of aesthetic feel to the sound that's like very, I guess, atmospheric. Like even the way the drums are, like they sound like real drums to begin with. Was that
some of them? Yeah,
some of them. Okay.
Yeah, Rodrigo Soto Rodri from Monterrey recorded a lot of those drums.
So from overseas, that's in Mexico, yeah. Monterrey. Yeah. And it's got a lot of collaborations, obviously, as well. Yeah. You've got collaborations with Tetrameth, which I was like, oh, that's what's that going to sound like?
Yeah.
And obviously, it does have that very psychedelic Pink Floyd-y sound that you hear a lot of Tetrameth stuff, and then obviously yours as well. So that's Pete. Hopefully we'll get him on the show.
Oh, you will.
Is his brother live with you?
Yes, James.
You and James, yeah.
Yeah.
And get him on
James,
the shows.
How to Ash. Yes, get them all.
Get them all.
The Adams family, I call them. Yeah.
All dark, is it?
Well, no, they're just a breed of their own.
Yeah.
You know, Ash, James, Amanda, Pete.
Oh, you know the whole family.
Yeah.
I don't know who Ash.
Oh, they're amazing, man. They're
Awesome.
really good people. Really good people, and they do their own thing at their own ways.
Yeah.
And that's very, like how do you say? Hats off.
Hats off to them.
Yeah.
So you've had obviously a lot of people collaborate on the album, but what was the sort of creative process in actually coming up with it? Was it, how did you approach say you started a track, right? Was it just
I usually start with a riff of a guitar or a piano riff.
Or melody first in a sense, or
obviously it has to match what I'm feeling at the time. Sometimes you feel a little bit more feisty, sometimes but yeah, and then you start hearing, Arrow, this one, as for Arrow, hey Arrow, when are you back in town this time? All right, and then you don't touch it, because then you finish it and then it's become something else.
Yeah.
So as soon as it's like when I was with a funk one, I was like, I need an MC, I need to kudos, bang. I was like, hey man, in 2 days it was like, whoa, this is sick. And you just start hearing, that's myself. I just start hearing. I was like, I need a piano here. Hey, Savona, you need to play. Hey, Savona, hey, yeah.
That's Jake Savona, Mr. Savona, who's also, by the way, he's agreed to be on the show. So excited.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a thread between the guests here. We got kudos tomorrow, and
no way.
Yeah. Cool. So there's.
See, hey, you owe me.
I dropped your name when I told him. I was like, okay, maybe that'll be convincing. Your name holds weight,
Nah, Jake is a lunatic. He's one of my best friends. He's a piece of shit. He's cool. He's amazing.
He's a piece of shit pianist,
like me. Nah, we're crazy in very similar ways.
Yeah. It's kind of like you guys gravitate towards each other because nobody else can relate to you in that way, isn't it?
Yeah, like drinking tequila at 9 a.m. in the morning, or having mojitos at, after hours in Cuba, or stuff like that. We've done a lot of things.
You've been to Cuba with him as well.
Yeah, Isaac Chambers also.
Oh, you guys have been with Isaac Chambers. Yeah. I love that guy.
Oh, he's a gem.
He's the nicest.
He's one of the best human beings I know.
To anyone who doesn't know, Isaac Chambers is a New Zealand producer. Yes. And he writes some amazing hip hop, reggae inspired with a bit of, definitely can hear a bit of the soul come through. He's done music with Dub Princess, a lot of tracks with Dub Princess, who's also on your album.
Yes.
What was it like working with her? I mean, was she here when you recorded the vocals, or did you have this no. overseas?
Everything I do, I like in my studio, because I got my own gear. And I know how's it gonna sound, or in someone else's studio that I am in control of. Yeah.
And
definitely.
that's an important part, isn't it?
I won't work. I mean, I'm not saying that I won't, but I haven't yet.
Yeah.
Recorded without me being there.
Like giving it to someone else without you being there.
You do whatever you want now.
No. And why is that? Is that just because you like the control?
Yeah, I like if it's my song, I like you're gonna do your thing, but I need to be here.
Yeah.
Because I got my preamps, I got my EQs, I got all outboard gear that I know that is gonna sound epic. So I like that control, because then, I mean, maybe I should relinquish that and let other people do their thing also. But at the moment, I like that. But
that's an important part, isn't it? Like letting go of that and just letting that, because the other person is usually a good musician in their own right.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they're like all the musicians that I recorded do their thing much better than me. Yeah. I can hardly play, an instrument, but
guitar you can.
A little bit. I'm not, like.
Pretty good enough to be on stage and rock it with some dreads.
Yeah. Oh well, like we do our best, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm definitely not like one of those super guitarists. No way. Like Pete.
Tetramath Pete. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why he's in the song, because he recorded those guitars, and he was in my house, and I was like, holy shit, bro, you can play. And he was like, and I was like, straight up there.
Yeah, like a virtuoso kind of,
Yeah, just he studied. He's from conservatory, so obviously.
Really? Like classical?
Music. I really don't know if it was classical or whatever, but it was, he spent, 4 years of his life.
Freak of nature, basically.
He definitely is.
So, I mean, being in control is such an important part of the creative process, right? And do you find that control is, you can be in control by just giving them exactly how you want them to fill the space that you see in your own, in your head or
for example, with Arrow, the first time we started Let's Get Started, she was singing a little bit stuff that wasn't that uplifting. And I was like, look, babe, I just wanted to be uplifting. And she was like, okay, bang. So that was my input.
So did she change the lyrics or did
No.
on the spot?
The lyrics are hers.
Yeah.
I said, hey, I don't like that. That is a little bit too downy. Let's uplift.
Let's bring it up a notch.
And then she was like, okay, and let's get started.
And there are other tracks there are other tracks that you can be, or this album will be a bit sadder, or did you want the album to just be?
No, the album took a course of itself. Yeah. It was definitely, the first 2 or 3 tracks I wasn't in the space of mind that my family tragedy got me in, or I got myself in. But yeah, after that, it was just probability. What am I going to write today? It was just, it's kind of like medicine. It was definitely kind of like catharsis.
Yeah.
That's definitely. And because it was the only thing that I had going on for me. Like when you're traumatized and you hit bottom ground, depression and, post-traumatic stress disorder and stuff like that, you have no friends. I mean, you have friends, but you're isolated. You're in a hole, So that was the only thing that I had for me for going on. It was like I need to finish this album, and so yeah, that was the only thing that kept me going. Really
amazing. It's just incredible that you actually came up with it. You were able to. I mean, it's not amazing that the tragedy happened, but amazing that you were able to actually, use that emotion and translate it into music, because otherwise, most people who lose someone in their life, maybe not most people, but just, a lot of people out there, they get stuck in the grief.
Yeah. It was very important for me when I saw myself with no friends, up in the sticks. That's Up in the Sticks, this track. That's why it's called Up in the Sticks. Living really far away, with nothing going on for me. I was like, okay, man, you got to get yourself out of this hole. You have to. Because if not, you're going to become the lady, that's what I told my mom also. It's like, Mom, you got to get out of this. We got to get out of this, because if not, you're going to become the lady with the cats,
Yeah.
Like of the movies. I'm not saying that ladies with cats.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But, like that cliche of like that lady, and
yeah. Well, you hear about it as well. Like, when you have a couple that have been married for so long and, the husband dies like at age, 87 or whatever. And then, 2 years later, because he died, like inevitably the lady dies as well, because she can't live without it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want it to be that scenario, because at the end of the day, she still got, you and the kids and the brothers, and,
everything. Yeah. And my mom and stuff. And I felt like I aged in those few years. I started to get, you start to deteriorate because your mind is so stressed. It's just attacking you also. Like it becomes your worst enemy. I started getting gray hairs. We were talking about it earlier, and then they stopped. Like once I was like, I can't do this anymore. You have to put yourself that stop. It's like, I cannot be like this anymore. I gotta move on. I have to, stand up and keep on going.
Yeah. How long did that period last for you? That dark sort of time.
Super dark. Probably 2 years.
2 years of just hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole world conspires against you.
Or so you think.
So you think, obviously.
Yeah.
It's like we were talking about, it's like a bad trip,
It's like second a bad acid trip.
Yeah. Like you think that people are looking at you ugly or they're talking about you, but it's all in your mind. And that's really coming from a past post-depressive, horrible mind. I can definitely say that your thoughts are not real, but you think they are.
Yeah.
So you believe them, and then, thankfully we could, slowly swim out of that abyss.
Yeah.
With every track.
So it was a gradual process. It wasn't.
Yeah, it doesn't happen from one day to the other, and then it comes back.
Of course, yeah, it comes back in waves.
Yeah, you're like, I'm
good,
bang, again and again and again, but lighter and lighter and lighter because you're working. I believe that if you tell your mind, if you do the exercises to get better, your mind instinctively knows that you're trying to get better.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the first step. It's kind of like being an alcoholic and saying, I'm not going to drink just one day. And then you're like, okay, you are actually trying. And that switches your brain to, okay, maybe let's move forward towards, getting better.
Yeah. So then it wasn't like a moment that you kind of gone, or like did it start as, fuck this, I choose not to feel like this anymore. I have to do something about this. And then that gradual feeling, like the feeling of getting better, just like obviously gradually came with it.
Well, I started studying. What did I have? So it was like
psychologically, or
what
were you going through?
What is it? What is this that I have?
Yeah.
Why is the world conspiring with me? For 36 years of my life, I had been amazing.
Yeah.
Why all of a sudden everything is against me?
Yeah.
So I started studying. Obviously, I read PTSD. The characteristics, and it was reading like a table of contents of my life. Chapter 1. Yep. Yep. And I was like, okay, that made me feel super relieved.
I can relate to that so
man.
much. Yeah.
I've got this stuff, and people, it's just like being sick. Cool, amazing. The world is not
it's like when you know exactly what's wrong with you, you're like, oh my god. So I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.
Yeah, and it's like, fuck this. Cool. And that is half of the way in.
Yeah.
Just acknowledging, okay, I'm sick. It's like being an alcoholic, for example. It's like, yes, I've got a problem. And it's like, okay, let's work on that. Yeah, let's work with that. Okay, there's things. Number one, exercise. Blah blah blah. And I did it all.
Man, I relate to that so much.
Yeah, I know that. So that's why I was telling you the other day on private messages. I was like, hey man, have you tried this? Have you tried this? Have you tried this? Because man, the brain is just a muscle, and like a computer, it gets viruses or bugs or whatever, and you just need to
clean it up or
clean
something.
it up, man. Like with different, I know that many artists, musicians, painters, or everybody suffers from some
form of ailment.
Some form of like, especially if I don't know if you're creative, it's more prone to that, but
maybe right. Like
I don't know. I don't want to sound like a fucking doctor or anything, but everybody's got like problems, and some people, dive into this reality and don't know how to come out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's tragic because we were talking in the car. Some people take their lives upon these thoughts that are not real.
Yeah, that you've obviously chosen to do something.
I couldn't. I've always been.
There's too much to live for.
Yeah, I've always been happy, uplifting. You're like, hey, woo, buddy, wow, Mexico, woo. And I just miss that, man. I just miss being myself. So. Yeah, and I couldn't do that to myself. You can't. It's like it's a romantic place also, like being isolated and you're by yourself. You don't have to answer to anyone. It's a comfortable place also, to be in that hole because nothing. You don't care about anything.
Nothing matters anymore.
But yeah, you gotta come out of your comfort zone and just try your best to smile, man. Because fuck being in that hole for the rest of your life.
Yeah, man. For a long time, when I didn't know that I had like anxiety, because like I told you in the car, I had it for like at least for 2 years of that 5 years that I went through. It was like fucking like a nightmare. Waking up was a nightmare. Every moment, like every waking life.
Yeah, that's strong, eh?
And the first thing that just like gave me relief was just when I saw. First off, I saw a psychologist that was like, no, buddy, there's nothing wrong with you. Well, there is, but you're not dying. You don't have cancer. If you want to go, and man, I got to get an MRI scan for my brain. That's how I was a hypochondriac for that period of time of my life because I thought I wanted to find a specific reason to why I was feeling a certain way. And I couldn't, nothing was giving me the answers.
Like in your case, and not in many cases, it just comes from nowhere.
In the end, it's a mental thing.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, and it's also scary how much the mind can create
Oh, it's very scary.
some of these stories, you know.
It's fucking horror town.
But I also feel that like creativity is like, you know, it's a cure for that.
Yeah.
It can also be a cause for that. I guess, you know, when you're putting too much pressure on yourself. But for me, I found that if maybe for you as well, obviously creating
Definitely. It's like lighting a fire. You're like, I made that.
Yeah, it gives you
know,
something
it's
to
like
live for
a
again.
little loop or whatever. It sounds good. Oh my god! It's like the thunder, like caveman. We made fire. And it's the only thing. I mean, I actually is the only thing that gets me that buzz.
Yeah.
You know, that creating that first little part of the song, and you're like, oh my god.
So actually, let's talk about that, man. Like for, you know, you wrote two or three tracks before the tragedy happened, and then, you know, you endured two years of really difficult, you know, a really difficult period of time. When you actually wrote that first loop, though, the loop that was post tragedy.
Yeah, well, for the first year after that, I didn't do anything, man. I was just a mess. Well, no, for the first months, because you are in what I call emergency mode. You don't feel anything. You're fine. You're like, okay. You know, for the first 6 to 8 months, I was fine. I was like, oh, well, maybe it's just, you don't know what's going around the fucking block.
Yeah, well, it's just life, you know. But
it's just life. All right. And then it just hits you like a fucking train. Boom. One day it's just everything collapses and it sits in. So because I've studied this type of thing is, you know, your what's it called? Adrenal glands are like going bam, 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 bam. You're fine. No, you're fine. And then one day they go, okay, we're out. You can handle this now yourself. That's when it sits in, and oh boy,
scary.
It's very scary, man.
Yeah,
it's very traumatic also. Like, whew.
Just dealing with that, like alone.
Yeah, that's your feelings,
yeah.
and then that's reality. That actually happened.
Yeah, you got to recover from the recovery.
Yeah,
in a way, or the stuff.
So for the first year or so, it was a bit murky, like, and then it was 2 years of absolute, abyss, and then the last year was kind of like getting better, and then it comes back, and then you're like,
But you have better tools to deal with it. That's the point.
Right? Well, you know.
Yeah, you know what's coming this time.
And you're on the uprise.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like you're dabbling here way more and more. You're up here. So you're up and down.
But it's going higher every time.
But you're up here. And this is normal and this is horrible.
Baseline shit.
So, you know, like you started here and then you, and then down again and then, and then down again and then, and then even when you're down, you're still a little bit happy and then bang again and then. So, but you know, you got flags. It's like, yep, I'm feeling that. Okay, I know what to do. Stuff like that, you know. So yeah, you got to get yourself out of it, because if not, it does kill you. Then I'm pretty sure it gives you cancer or you know, brain tumors or whatever.
Yeah,
because your brain is like.
Yeah, it's just not, the circuitry is completely off.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
like if you throw, you know, water to a computer, it's like, and. Yeah, you just gotta do the work.
Yeah, well, you've done the work, man, and it shows in the album. It shows in the album, man.
Yeah,
right hook, left hook.
It was the only thing that I had going on for myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's out.
It's out. Where can we find it? You wanna,
you can find it in every platform.
I know where to find it, but it's just for people.
Spotify,
for people to
iTunes, whatever you fancy.
Bandcamp.
There's this Bandcamp, SoundCloud. There's all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, the major ones, for example.
Yeah.
A friend told me the other day, hey, I just saw you in this other platform that is kind of like Spotify but high def audio.
Is it Tidal?
Tidal, that one.
Tidal.
I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
You know, something I didn't know. But yeah, it's you know.
Is that just the distribution agency does that? Like,
I guess so.
That's obviously through the Westwood Recordings.
Yes, the label. The label takes care of all of that.
Yeah. Are you exclusive to that label? Or is that, you know,
No, I don't think so. Maybe
I've never heard of that label before, to be honest.
Oh, Westwood.
Yeah. Can you tell me anything about that label?
They're a Canadian label with high profile artists like Charlie Tuna,
Oh,
Funk
yeah.
Hunters, A Skills, Sticky Butts, K-Lab, all of those guys. So they got that Moon Tricks. They got all of that niche kind of sound.
Bass hip hoppy, funky sort of sound.
And I think that now Westwood is incorporated also like Moon Tricks and myself and stuff like that. It's not that, but it's like, hey, a label has to have everything.
Yeah,
I guess.
it's still like when you listen to it. Obviously, you can obviously hear like your album has influences of, you know, especially when you've got either like a breakbeat in it or, you know, like that, you know.
Yeah, influences. Yeah, you can. I didn't make any of this up. You just kind of like, you know, recreating with your own flavor things that you've seen in the past.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely the whole festival kind of
vibe or sound.
Yeah, it's there. Definitely. That's where we made ourselves. You know.
That's awesome, man. How did that happen? How did you actually get on that label? Did you approach them or did they?
A really good friend, Mas, who runs Delicious Music in New Zealand.
Yeah. Did they put out delicious music?
Yes, and delicious beer also.
Oh, really?
That's even better.
You're gonna have to tell me about that.
Yeah. So he's kind of like this super entrepreneur, ADD. He also has his own radio show that we were on before the album dropped, and he's just got a hand in everything. So I went to New Zealand to play to this festival in Karamea.
Oh, what a beautiful place!
Oh my God, it's amazing.
That's insane, isn't it? Small, but like, isn't it? Like, it's pretty remote, Karamea.
It's remote. That's what makes it beautiful, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were chatting, and I just told him, hey man, you know, this and that, and he was like, hey, I know these guys, and I think, and I was like, I know, I don't know them, but I know about them. They're like, yeah, I think that would be the best, and he put me in contact, and I sent the demo, or the album completed with everything, with the story, and they loved it.
They loved it, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a very nervous feeling having to obviously send that, you know, like, because it's like it's finished, like, will they like it? And
yeah.
Because for you, this is everything.
Yeah, this is everything. So you spot on, man. Spot on. Like after 5 years of doing this, or 4.5 years of doing this, you're like, whilst you're doing it, you're like, oh, I just gotta finish it. It's gotta be perfect. And when you finish it, you're like, maybe nobody likes it, and you're like, holy shit. And it's really hard, you know. It's like I was like, oh, nobody likes it. I'll just quit music. Fuck it.
Fuck.
Yeah. Why am I doing this? You know. So I sent it to a few really good labels, and nobody got back to me. And I was working out west here in the desert, and it can be a pretty grim place to work in.
Like Western Australia, or just
yeah, in the desert. So
mining, that, as you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
And nobody got back to me, and I was like, fuck. And I started to get those feelings again, you know?
Yeah.
This is everything. But everybody was in Burning Man. And I didn't know. I was like, oh, nobody got back to me. And then, you know, after 2 weeks, because Burning Man is like 10 days, after 2 weeks.
After recovery.
Yeah, after recovery, all this stuff, everybody's like, we want to release it. And I was like, oh.
So not just Westwood, but I can't.
Oh, well, Westwood was the first ones, and for me they were the strongest ones in the game, for say
distribution and exposure.
Just what everybody, word of mouth of other people's like, nah man, you know, like I got friends that are on that label. This guy Shane. What's his name? Shane Byron Bay. He plays the saxophone. I don't listen to music, so I'm put myself.
I'm trying to think if I know a Shane from Byron Bay.
Yeah. He's good. He's really good. He releases with Westwood. He also told me, Shane Clifford. He told me, hey man, no, they're great. Sticky Butts is Tyler is my friend. Yeah, it was there.
Shane Clifford. He also produces music.
Yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about, actually. I've completely.
What is it?
He used to have a coffee shop. Is that the same guy I'm thinking about?
I don't know.
He's got a bass music project.
Yeah. Where like kind of like that electro swing kind of thing.
Yeah, I forgot his name. I actually know him really well.
I'm so sorry, bro.
Actually, we both know you.
Yeah.
So we used to have a Cafe del Sol.
No idea.
I'm pretty sure it's that guy.
Okay.
Shane Clifford, because I booked him for a festival. He
plays the saxophone. He's brilliant. Whatever. He told me also, nah man, they're great. Whatever. So they were the first one to reply to like, hey man, we love it. And I was like, wow. And I was still up there. I was like, oh. And I was like, cool. Well, you know, where do I sign? Kind of like, I want this. You're not going away. Because nobody else had returned my email. And then, you know, 3 days later, you know, Gravitas Recordings were like, hey, man, we love it. And then this other goes, hey, man, we love it. I was like, oh, well, I wanted to go with Westwood also. I was like, oh, well, I'm sorry. It's gone.
It's gone now.
And they're like, oh, we're all at Burning Man. I was like,
sorry, they got back to me first.
You know, timing is everything. And I think it was they did a really good job.
Yeah. They came up with a really well written article for you as well.
Oh, that was
yeah. That was a very enjoyable read.
Yeah, please read that.
Yeah, tell people about it, please.
If you want to hear the whole story of the album, and if you're interested, it goes to really good detail. It's called Austero's Abismo, Music as an Emotional Act. It's on my social medias or on Westwood's blog web pages. I know I've seen it. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, they're all their web pages, and it's really well written by a Canadian, James. I can't remember his name. Amazing, really nice guy, James. He did a fantastic job on writing and on interviewing. We had one of these, but over the internet, and he just wrote the article. It was great.
Fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Listen, I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here, but I just want to cover a little bit more.
Definitely.
I've got a few questions, and one of them is we've obviously covered, you know, how you used tragedy to transmute tragedy into creating a story, and you know what it was like to be in that, but and the sort of immensity of the pressure that you had to deal with, the pressure in your own mind, I guess. For a lot of producers who are like in the middle of the journey, do you know what I mean? Like they're sort of mid-level producers aspiring to sort of, you know, release an album that stands on its, you know what I mean? Like an album that stands on its own. For anyone out there that wants to kind of reach to that same level, what kind of advice could you give them?
Well, I just had a podcast also interview 2 days ago, and I said the same thing, and I will keep on repeating it because I think it's crucial. I think that me and Oscar started, you know, like with this, how do you say, rule. It's not a rule, but whatever. And it's just don't copy anything. You know, don't copy other sounds. It is probably more complicated to replicate a style or a genre than doing your own vibe. Just it's, and my humble opinion, if you can just do your own signature, you know, like of music, that's the best way that your music will stand out.
Yeah.
Quicker. You know, Sunmonks, it was like, what is this? It was like, boom. And with my music, I hope it's, you know, like there's not much, like you can, like you said, you can pick, you have influences, of course. Like who doesn't?
Yeah.
But just step out of that comfort zone of like, I ride dubstep, or I ride this, or I ride that. Just fuck that. Just get on your own bus, on your own train, with the dubstep, with the thing, but write your own flavor.
Yeah.
And it is not easy, but I can assure you it will have, well, I don't want to talk too assured of what I know, what I can, but I can almost assure you that it will be in a better, it would translate much better than, you know, just writing.
Than trying too hard, yeah.
Just genres like, oh, I want to sound like Tipper, or I want to sound like this guy. Well, it's probably harder to do that. Just sound like yourself, bro.
Yeah.
And after the years, because this is a long road, you'll master it and you'll ace it, and then you just go like, this is what I do, and people will like, I think we heard you on a track. It was definitely you, and you're like, and I don't even know how to play. You know, it's like, yeah, it was probably this one. Yeah. You know, it's like because you have that flavor. It's like, oh, that's you, and no one can do that but you.
Yeah.
You know, so if, in my humble opinion, I have an advice is just create your own sound, like with your influences and stuff, But yeah, just stand on your own 2 feet.
That's good advice.
Mm.
I of all people should actually take that advice. I have a bad habit of no, it's not a bad habit. It's just I do like to imitate some of the producers that I like, but I've started to do this thing where I would imitate the music that I really like for the sake of education. I was like, if I'm listening to techno, because I listen to specific music at a specific periods of time. So like I'll have like a couple of months where I'm like, I'm really into techno right now.
Yeah.
I'll go back to being into techno. I'm really into drum and bass again. I'm listening to all these genres of music and I'm like, when I'm listening to those genres, I want to create music like those genres.
Yeah, well, but yeah,
you incorporate.
Exactly. You listen to Stefan Botzin, for example.
Yeah. Amazing.
What other guy or girl has that style?
Yeah.
It's still techno.
There's a lot of people now imitating, but good imitations as well.
Yeah, but you hear Stefan Botzin and you're like, bang, that's Stefan Botzin.
Yeah.
And he's writing techno. It's not don't write dubstep or don't write techno or psytrance or whatever. Just found your own way of interpreting this language.
Yeah, absolutely.
Humbly speaking. Yeah.
So that's some good advice. That's some really good advice. I'm gonna for me anyways.
You got your heritage, you got your thing. Just get that on the bus.
I mean, even that, man, like trying to write like Middle Eastern inspired music. Some people out there. First off, I feel like to write Middle Eastern music. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't play an instrument, right? And I wish I did. But there's an Ableton Push now, right? There's an Ableton Push. You can use the pads.
Yeah,
that's been working out for me. But there's definitely producers out there, like, I don't know if you've heard The Spy from Cairo. He's like a audio engineer, but he plays like 4 or 5 different like stringed instruments or something like that. Very Middle Eastern sounding dub.
Yeah.
But so well produced. I'm going to show you some of this stuff. It's like...
It's unique.
It's unique. It's almost cinematic as well.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there was a unique sound of where you were born, like even in the block or that area.
Yeah.
Like there's unique stuff that you can relate and you can, sponge off. Oh, I can, do that in my own words or do this and do that and then.
Yeah.
I guess.
So I want to take us down memory lane before we sort of wrap things up. I want to just like ask you, just recall some of the cool shit that you've done, in your entire sort of musical experience. Let's start off with what's one of your favorite memories performing at festivals? There's a couple, but if you want to say a couple, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I really liked ones that I was playing at Shambhala with Oscar, Sun Monks, and that's in Canada by other people, and all the Canadians. They're lovely people. They just all started hugging in this massive dance floor of hundreds of people, probably a couple of thousand, I don't know, maybe more, maybe way more, like 50,000 people.
You just exaggerate.
A
lot of people.
It was a couple of thousand people, probably. Yeah. They just went and they did this massive hug. And the whole thing just became like this little, well, not little, but really small. And I was playing, and then I just opened my eyes. I was like, oh, what is going on? There's people running, to get in this massive communal hug. Sounds pretty hippie. 1 year, like when we say, when you're actually there and you see it, it's like, holy shit.
It's amazing, man.
So special. That, playing, main stage at Rainbow, that was pretty cool. Like when you...
On the main stage, that's a special one. That's when you open. I'm pretty sure I was there. That main stage. It was an opening set at Rainbow. Yeah, no, 100%.
And then Jim played after, Jim Spoonbill.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big, like...
It was like the whole thing that I could see was just people.
Panoramic.
Like all that you could see all the way. It was like, I think it was 14,000 people that time on that stage.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
To the top of because there's a back of the hill there and you can see people on their heads on the hill.
To the left, everything that you could see was people. Like it was massive. I remember playing at old people's home. That was pretty good. I played...
What's that?
Old people's home.
Like an old people's home?
Yeah.
I thought that was like the name of a pub or something. No, you literally mean like old people's home.
Yeah.
In Australia?
No, in Mexico. I played Christmas carols on an acoustic guitar for old people. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. That would have made their day.
Yeah. My first gig at Symbiosis as Austero That was pretty cool. Also in Paiute land, in sacred land of the Paiute people. Prive. In Reno, in the Pyramid Lake, that was pretty cool. All of them, they all have something like Mick Scarlett's gigs are always really cool.
The Culture Jam
Yeah,
gigs,
they're really cool.
Another potential guest out there.
Yeah, when I got one when we opened, me and Savona opened for as Austero opened for Beats Antique.
Yep,
and it was the first time that my parents were there.
Yeah,
and it was a massive. Yeah, it was massive.
Where is this in America or is this in
No,
Mexico?
it was here in the Hi-Fi, like what it's called now, the Max Watt. It was the Hi-Fi bar. It was. I was opening the night, I think, or maybe somebody else, and it was when Sufi Dub was really also still like
banging, yeah.
And it was awesome. Sahida danced, and it was the first time that my parents saw me play.
Yeah.
And then I took them to Earth Frequency.
Gave them acid.
My dad, I remember my dad untucked his shirt to blend in.
Was he wearing a button shirt that was tucked in?
Like normal. They're like they're
the squares.
Square Mexican, really joyful, really happy people.
Good people.
Good people. Go to church. They do all the right things by their eyes. And yeah, my dad was like, whoa. And Earthquake is pretty tamed down. It's like
it's a good festival to take your parents.
I wouldn't take him anywhere else.
Yeah.
Then he tucked his shirt.
You wouldn't take him to Revs.
Yeah, I wouldn't take him to Rainbow right now either. But
I mean Revs.
Yeah, imagine Revs. Yeah, Dad. No, but he untucked his shirt to blend in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, those were. Oh, and then we killed it that time at Sun Monks. Oh my God, that was a great gig at Sun Monks. My cousin was here. Also in Brisbane, and he was like, "Man, you guys killed it." And it was, and my parents with it. It was like, yes,
fuck yeah! Did they like the music? Did they enjoy it?
Yeah, of course.
Did they relate to it as well? Like even though it was electronic.
Nah, I don't think so. But like they just seeing their son playing, and they're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And obviously you're seeing so many people. They're like, we never thought this would be like. That's our boy.
Be so like really good. Like Earthquake was outstanding, and obviously in the Hi-Fi bar was packed. And there was like dancers with like what are those fans? And it was like kind of UV. It looked trippy as fuck. So it was like for them, it was like
what the fuck? Hell? Yeah. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
I wish my parents. I still to this day could. It's an amazing thing to have them.
Yeah.
To have them be there
in a good gig, apparently. Like
in a good gig where it's like yeah, my boys made it. My boys made it. You know. Because that's kind of like important. You want the approval of your parents.
Definitely. For me, it's everything.
Were they ever kind of like, no, don't do this? Or
at the beginning, well, look, my mom was always like, hey, yeah, woo, and my dad was like, whatever, you're gonna drop it like everything else.
Yeah.
Like you do as a teenager, but I didn't. So yeah, he told me before he passed away, he was like, fuck, I wish I would have pushed you more with this, because obviously it worked. I mean, obviously you have made, songs and a career of it, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I was like, don't even worry about it. I'm fine. Like you.
Yeah.
He was like, whoa, awesome.
Because that sometimes creates a bit of a chip on your shoulder, doesn't it? When you're the dad or the parent or the mom or whatever, they're like, I don't know if you're good. Like I definitely had that thing. Like my parents still kind of roughly, like it's only now that really sort of, my mom's like, yeah, just do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. Yeah. My dad's like, musicians, they don't have careers, like,
exactly.
They're drug addicts, whatever.
And in my hometown, I was like 13, they were like, look at him. And you believe this, but then your heart, if you want to say, your soul, you just go like, nah, I'm going to do this.
Have you played in your hometown?
Yeah, I played side
as Austero. No, but as Austero.
Nah.
They're not
no,
connected
no, much less right now. There's no places to go.
Yeah,
and people don't know that this type of music, it's either pop or rock.
Yeah,
something like that, or like West, like country music.
Country Mexican.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what's the craziest shit that's happened on tour, man?
The craziest.
Like, what is this like? An absolutely like what is something that's just like?
We got time.
Yeah, I think we got about we got maybe about 10 minutes or something like that.
Easy. No, I'll tell this in a couple of minutes, whatever. We were touring with it was Oscar, Ross Liquid, myself, Johnny Hooves.
Oh yeah.
Who else? I can't remember. But yeah, those. Sorry if I don't remember. But
Names.
yeah, basically it was. Oh yeah, and a drummer. The drummer was it. He lived one street from Elfie. I can't remember. But yeah, we were. It was the last gig. It was in Perth. It was the last gig, and everybody was just ready. Oh, you better style, because we had a manager, Jerry Poon, that we were talking about him before. Yeah. It's like, oh, you better know where the jail is, Jerry, because you gotta go and pick us up this morning. Everybody was revving up. It's the last show. We're gonna go ape shit.
Yeah,
and I did. So we were at the green room. And I was like, fighting everyone, like play fighting, like Mexican wrestling fighting, breaking everything. And we had filled that club that night. And there was this point, and I obviously was being annoying as fuck on purpose.
Yeah.
And this Johnny Hooves grabbed me and lifted me. He's a big boy. He lifted me up and he threw me.
Jokingly, right?
Yeah, definitely. Everything was joke. Like we never know. And I went flying and landed on this table with like all this shit. And the owners or the whatever security were like, all of you're out. It's like, we just filled this place. It's like, you're all out.
So they kicked you out of the club?
Yeah, so.
All of you?
No, I mean, not
you and Johnny?
all the musicians, everyone out.
Yeah. After you guys performed at least?
we had performed.
That's good. Well, you got your money, you got performed.
Yeah, we were just like, whoa, let's party. And in that inter of Johnny, there was this guy. There's like, a few people in the green room or whatever. This guy just goes. He's pretty timid guy, and then he just like boom, 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 and he just got naked, and we were all like, "What's up with this guy, man?"
You knew him? You
didn't
know
no,
him?
Nobody knew. I was like, "What's up with this guy?" We didn't know. It was something weird, whatever. That was part of the story, but it was just like a weird night, whatever. We go back to the hotel, all these people that we don't know, they're like, yeah, and we were like, yeah, come with us. Woo! The Hilton, we were like, that was big hotel.
Yeah, like a 5-star.
We were in, everybody was getting crazier and crazier, and I think everybody said it was me, but it wasn't. This chick started to smoke in the elevator, so the alarms went out. Off.
Did the water shoot us out?
No.
Just like a move?
And we were like, fuck, that's definitely part of our crew. That's us. Yeah. Let's bail. Let's go. So we left, me, Russ, Jerry, Oscar, we all left. Let's go. Boom. And we went to this club. It was dubstep. Whatever. We had a wild night. We came back like at 6 a.m. and the whole hotel was outside in their pajamas and shit.
Because of that fire alarm.
Yeah. And we didn't know. We just bailed it. Let's go. Fuck it. Boom.
Nobody knew it was you though, right?
No. Well, we like the next day, we were in the lobby waiting for all our gear, the guitars and the drums and all that. And everybody had carpet burns, like fat lips.
Because they
like trembling from being hungover, crying or whatever. And they're like, it was you guys. And we were just like, with the hoodies kind of like, just get us out of here, please, Jerry.
Yeah.
Just let's go. And, it was very crazy. I can't go really much into detail.
Yeah, no. That's all right.
It was super crazy that from flying through the bar, landing thing to getting all the people out, like kids and grandparents. We were like, fuck, man, it was definitely us. It wasn't us, but it was a party.
Yeah.
You had 500 people outside in the street on the pajamas at 6 a.m.
Just because they were evacuated.
Yeah.
That's...
Between many others, every single tour or gig there's not like that. That was special.
Dude, it's a tour when you get a bunch of the same users. It's like, come on, you're working like gig after gig after gig. There's got to be some release. Like, there's got to be some sort of fun.
That was massive. Yeah.
Well, my friend, you've just heard a music video clip. Do you want to tell people where to go, what to type to see it? Do you want to plug in anything here other than obviously the album Abismo, which is available on Bandcamp, Spotify?
Yeah, what do you mean by plug in?
Advertise it. You've got a Quentin Tarantino like video that's just been out.
The video was shot after Coburg. My friend John how do you say? He told me, hey man, this is John Paul. Sean, he's great with he was like, what do you want? You want the graphic design, like animation or normal? I was like, animation, let's make it quirky. He was like, this guy. I told him the concept. Like, it's a Mexican song. I want wrestlers and stuff. And he's like, I know where to. And he's like, this place got cactus and stuff and a river and shit. I was like, look, I don't care, man. Let's just go and be silly and be creative. And we did. We went with Alejandro Espino Aldana. He is the Mexican music man. Yeah, the mariachi, and he was like, all right. And then Sean was like, all right, you walk through there, and then, whoa, look at this. He had his own idea of what was the video going to happen. And then Victor Gil Diaz, the responsible for the Lucha Fantastica in Australia, he was like, I was like, hey, Victor, can you get me a couple of wrestlers? Yep, bang. Not the same day, but it was like, it took a few goes. But yeah, at the ending, it was cool, eh?
That's good. Like
awesome. Sean asked me, like, what do we put in the sky that he's afraid of? Like he's like, and I was like, just put the Virgin Mary, man. Just and then I was like, no, wait, put a giant chihuahua. It's just taking the piss of our own culture. And yeah, it was great. Aerial shot, all that. It was great video. You can look at it on YouTube, Austero / Mexican Music Man, I guess. The music on Spotify, Bandcamp, iTunes. The release is Abismo, obviously the title of the album, Austero Abismo. There's few good remixes that I've done. The Carnival remix for Mr. Savona is really cool. I like that song. The one that you play, Sufi Dub, and the other one, what is it? Step Beyond from Luna Sounds.
Yeah.
I've got Staunch remix. It's really good.
Yeah.
Say hi to James and Ash. And all the music, just I think that at this stage for the album, I was like, for me, the best thing is for you to listen to it and for you to share it. Just share it to everyone. Hey, man, have you listened to this? If you like it, just share it. Because I think that's the best that they can do for me right now is just share it for the people, to everybody to go like, oh, this is shit. Oh, this is good.
This is a good album. It was a good story as well.
Yeah. So the blog is, the Westwood blog is what I said before, is Austero's Abismo, music as an emotional act. That's great article written by James. Disco Vanilla something. That's his
something. So, my man, before we wrap things up, I want to have a quick rapid fire question.
Okay.
Try to do it in one answer or as short as you can.
Okay.
All right. Favorite synth or VST?
Synth.
Yeah, or VST.
Oh, what's the favorite one?
Favorite one. The one you use the most.
I'm using the David Smith instrument OB6.
OB6. Is that hardware or digital?
Hardware. I only use hardware.
That's why it sounds so fat, huh? Yeah. All right. Favorite genre. Is there a favorite genre, or is there a genre for a specific time and place?
The 90s rock. The 90s grunge and rock. That's my favorite era.
Favorite movie?
Ooh. Like Apocalypse Now.
Good movie.
I've been liking a lot Jim and Andy.
I don't think I've seen it. Is that good?
It's a good one, man. It's Jim Carrey doing Andy.
Oh, Andy Kaufman. Yeah, I've seen that.
So
I've seen that.
Documentary of
Jim Carrey playing Andy Kaufman in character.
What the things that he says.
Yeah,
oof.
He nailed it.
Yeah,
he nailed it. They got so angry at him. Like
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's really. I love that movie.
Yeah, he apparently almost derailed the entire production.
Yeah,
it's so good.
That's amazing.
Method acting. Favorite festival?
I think I gotta say between Symbiosis and Shambhala.
Favorite actor?
Jim Carrey.
I thought you were gonna say that. Your favorite show? Your absolute favorite show or performance you've seen from another person that's blown you away?
James Blake. Symbiosis, 2012.
Yep.
I mean, that's in our world, per se.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking Pink Floyd. I mean, like.
Yeah, it could be anything.
Yeah, how to put it on a pedestal? But like in that our world kind of festival thing, James Blake just blew my mind.
Favorite artist, go-to artist that you listen to for inspiration? It's hard. It's a hard question.
Musically?
Yeah. Oh, it can be painting as well. Can be.
Favorite artist. Uh, at the moment, it changes.
At the moment, how about at the moment?
I think Marilyn Manson right now. I really like what he's doing or what he.
Current Marilyn Manson?
I guess I don't know. I don't know if I just Spotify just puts it there and I'm like, oh, this is so amazing.
So you're clearly a rock fan as well, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, and just to
Moses Omni also very very nice. Nick Hakim, that's completely the other opposite.
Nick Hakim.
Nick Hakim.
I've never heard of Nick Hakim. I'm gonna. What kind of music is that?
Emotional.
Is that like jazz or soul?
Nah, just like our style, like Austero kind of thing, but with amazing
musicality
singing and musicality, and he's like top dog. I guess.
And he sings in the album as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, last one. Favorite meal.
Taco
libre.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, my man, it's been a pleasure having you here.
It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you so much for the invite.
Dude, you're very welcome. Thank you for honoring me on the very first episode of Surreal Melbourne.
It's a pleasure to be here and to be a friend outside here. And thanks. Thank you very much for listening to the album. Thanks for all the good feedback that you've sent me and that it has had. It is greatly appreciated.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I guess that's a wrap, huh? Over and out.
Woo, thank you.